Alright, so I'm going to work on some of these battery terminals here today. It's got some problems. This one here is looking pretty ragged. It's broken. And it's not corroded, it was just improperly dealt with. I think somebody put the battery in and they threw things around. And so we're going to take this thing apart and have a better look at it. I'm going to need to trim this little feller back here. Get some of this tape off of here and see about putting a new terminal on here and getting this thing sorted out. And it's pretty bad shape. This is probably the original stuff on here. Whew. Oh, it's just kind of a mess, isn't it? Alright, so let me get some of this mess cleared away. Alright, so it's got some pretty good tape on there, but it's still managed to get some corrosion contamination in there from battery acid. So I'm going to have to cut it off probably about right here somewhere. Maybe cut it back a little bit farther than that. Alright, so I'm going to cut this thing back, and I've got these big old chopper pliers here. So yeah, so these are some big old Kleins, and basically we just want to get this cable and whack it back far enough so that we can service this thing. I'm going to start right here and see how it goes. That's stuck pretty good. There we go. It's got a really nice thick cable on it. Throw that away over there somewhere. Have a look at this. Gonna have to trim this back some. I've got a little bit of slack, not much. Trim it back a little bit. Okay, so I've got many terminals here that I can play around with. Basically, I have a terminal like this that I modified a bit so it would fit on that cable. I drilled a hole in the end of it. I already put some flux on it. I've got the hole also for a signal so that I can tell that my wire has been pushed in correctly. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up with a propane torch, or a MAP gas torch, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to heat it up, and I'm going to shove some solder in here and solder this little feller up. Now this cable, you know, because of the amount that I had to cut back, it kind of went down in length a little bit, but I think it'll be fine for bolting to this once I get it in a good spot. So I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna clamp it with some vice grips and cover things up here. And the solder that I'm using is some Kester. It's 44. It's called 44 rosin core. It does have 3.4% lead in it, I believe. So if you're going to get something like that, it works good. You just have to be careful about handling it. And of course, I've always got, now if my cable was too short, I would have spliced it with one of these barrels, okay, and that would have fixed all our problems. When I go back together, I'm going to go back together with some of this Tesa tape. I'm going to test it out and talk about how it works. All right, so let's get things heated up. Basically what you want to do is heat this thing up enough to get it hot enough for the solder. Of course, I'm doing this next to the battery, but I've got the fan blowing behind me. I want to heat this up slowly and just be careful with the stuff that's around. Alright, I think that's going to be enough temperature. And we're just going to feed it into this hole here. There we go. That's beautiful. That's the way I want it. Just like that. Might have to heat it up again. Yep. We'll give it a little bit more heat. Just want to fill up this hole here. Hope you can see this, because I don't know if you can or not. Solder don't ever cooperate. But yeah, we just want the end of that to get soldered on there. Get a little bit more. But that's really all you need to do, is just be patient and get that thing soldered nicely. Once that solder cools, it'll be done. Yeah, we got a little bit coming out the bottom. Got a little bit of a drop coming out, so we'll shake that off and it'll be fine. Let it cool. We don't want too much solder, because if it starts wicking down in here, then it'll make this wire too rigid, and we don't want that. So we're looking good, looking good. Now just be careful with that, because it's still hot enough to melt the battery and everything else. All right, so I got that thing cleaned up. I cleaned it up with some alcohol. Okay, that alcohol washes all that rosin straight out of there. And I'm just going to tape this up with this Tesa automotive tape. It's a cloth style tape. And I like this. I like this tape a lot. I like it a lot better than that other stuff I had. This tape cost a little bit more than the other tape that I had used for an automotive harness repair. This stuff here, it seems like it has a better rigidity, and the glue is stronger. Of course, this is a kind of a close area, so just have to mess around with it a bit to get things to cooperate. See if it'll tear. Yeah, oh, it's a little difficult to tear, but that's fine. I'll just cut it. We'll put some tie on there. That sucker wants to sit over there out of sight. Sorry about that. So we'll get a knot going here. Around that end of that tape, because no matter what anybody says, it's going to stand up sooner or later and start unwinding. So I'll put this tie on the end of it, and that'll hold things down. Come on. And got a little short on me, and that's fine. Alright, so that's it for that Maxwell. Or not Maxwell, that's not Maxwell. I like this tape, this Tesa tape. I like it better than Maxwell. It has a better glue, and it's thicker, and it's not as stretchy. It just seems like it might have quite a bit of a better experience with this stuff than the Maxwell tape. So anyway, that's just my thoughts about it. I think the temperature rating on this is like 225 or something in that range. It's a little bit lower than Maxwell, but I like it. So anyway, that's it for that repair. Y'all have a good day. I hope this helps somebody. Please subscribe. Have a good weekend.